Welcome back. So, how about we finish up the last Bedford Antique run and let's take a look at the rest of the goodies I got there. Now, before we get started, I do want to let you know I very rarely pay more than $10 per item. It's once in a while I will. I never pay more than 20 unless it's an item that's coming home with me personally. So when I say we're getting thrift store prices, I usually make every effort to show you the price while we're getting it. And as I say, you can see for yourself. The only time I will even come close to $10 is if it's an item that I think, based on the nature of the item or the quality of the item, that it's something that I'm going to be able to sell in the range of $20. Those of you who visited my Etsy shop know that virtually everything I sell, I would say a good 90% of it, is under $20. So, as a consequence, I need to keep those prices low. All right, so having said that, yes, really is thrift store prices. And you know, because I'm showing you the tags. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. Well, the shop, and I keep calling them shops, and they're really antique booths. But to me, they are shops because they are stocked by individuals and they're all very separate entities, probably with the exception of Paul, who has stuff squirreled away all over the place there. In general, they function like their own little tiny mini stores. Um, that makes it very easy for me to confuse the terms, and I shouldn't. Um, these are booths in an antique mall. So the first one that we are going to is a place that I never really spent much time in there. They've got all kinds of stuff, but I guess they've changed the stock recently. The last time I was at Bedford, I got a lot of very nice little Asian pieces there. Really sweet pieces at very, very good prices. So I went back to check them out again. And gee, guess what? New stuff. Great stuff. Low prices. So let's take a look. This little booth, which has a little bit of everything, is where I've found a couple of interesting Asian pieces in the past. And I've got this one here for $5. It's a pretty Famille Rose piece, not very old, but definitely vintage. For $5, oh yes, that's a nice piece. They're calling it a cylinder vase, but what it is actually is a brush pot, which means that this can be used as a vase, it can be used as a utensil holder in the kitchen, it can be used as a pencil cup at the office. Very, very useful sort of piece. Very nice. Same booth as that Chinese brush pot. This is a beautiful little Nippon footed dish. Really nice condition. Keep in mind, pieces marked Nippon are probably, if not 100 years old or more, very close to it. So basically we're looking at antiques when we look at Nippon. So let me set that aside. $2 for this. Unmarked. It's just a very nice lusterware creamer in gray with nice gilding on the handle. And in fact, there's very little wear on that handle at all. So, nice piece. Both of them are coming home with me. Well, this is the same booth where I got the Famille Rose brush holder, and this was sitting in a cabinet. This is a lovely Nippon creamer with a saucer. I'm not 100% sure the saucer goes with the creamer, but who cares? They're $6. I'll do something with the saucer if I have to, if it's not a match when I inspect it closely. Nevertheless, remarkably good deal. Okay, so we got 4 items there. The brush pot, that's that beautiful Famille Rose cylindrical vase, they called it. Calligraphy is a huge thing in Chinese art, has been for centuries. That Chinese calligraphy is highly valued by the Chinese, and the artists traditionally keep their calligraphy brushes in brush pots like that. So brush pots are a big thing. You find them occasionally. Usually when you do, the prices are high when they're old because, frankly, they're very beautiful. And as I say, because the art is so valued in China, obviously they are going to have some very fine accessories. Brush pots are among them. So that brush pot, Famille Rose, not really old. Unmarked, so who knows what that means. In this case, it does not mean that it is pre-1890. A lot of times an unmarked piece is pre-1890. This, I can tell you from looking at it, is vintage, not antique. Nevertheless, really, really nice Famille Rose piece, and that was like $5. So the little Nippon dish, I did not show you the price on that, but I checked the receipt and that was $1. So thrift store prices. The gray pitcher, that was unmarked as well, probably American made. I just thought it was really darling. A nice piece of lusterware with gilding. I love creamers myself. I keep them hanging around. One of our viewers had told me she likes to keep creamers in among her potted plants for quick and easy watering, which I think is just, what an idea that is. So, a creamer, of course I'm going to get a creamer. And especially because I think that one was like $2. It's a no-brainer. Then when I was done looking around, I took a look at their locked cabinet. And that's where I found that beautiful Nippon creamer that's just gorgeous. And it was sitting on a little plate that came along with it. The pair was $6. The little plate does not go with the creamer. It's a completely different pattern. So I'm not going to be selling them together because that might encourage people to think they are a match set, and they're not. So what a bargain that was. A $6 creamer for a nice Nippon creamer, and that's an antique. And another beautiful little plate. Who knows what the provenance of that plate is? It was unmarked. Still, really nice deal. Now, when I was there taking a look at other goodies in that locked case, I happened to notice this. So let's take a look at this. Same booth. Little porcelain thimbles. So what's the big deal about this? Well, there is a blogger I used to follow a while ago, and she used little porcelain thimbles, drilled holes in them, and they became the ends of her Venetian blind cords. I thought that was extremely clever because you can often get really attractive little thimbles for pennies. You just have to look for them. And it's a way of adding some spark to something very ordinary otherwise. I didn't buy any of the thimbles, but as I said when I was filming, a blogger that I followed, I stopped following her, even though I had done it for many years, because I really got very sick to death of listening to her talk about her weird medical conditions all the time. I don't know what to say, but there's a point at which you just pull back and say, sweetheart, you're not sick. You just have too much time on your hands. But she made shade pull caps. If you look at mini blinds, they have little thimble-shaped caps on the cords. And she got some attractive thimbles. I think she got a collection of them at eBay for a few bucks. Drilled them, voila. I thought that was a remarkably clever and interesting way for people to just inject a little personality into something, mini blinds, that have no personality at all on their own. So I thought I would share that with you, and you don't have to listen to me talking about my agoraphobia. So, terrific. After I got out of that booth, I went over to a booth, and I've shown you this one. I did just a full sweep of this booth. This is that little bit of everything booth, and I found some salt and pepper shakers there. So, here you go. I've gone back to one of the booths where I find a lot of interesting salt and pepper shakers. Both these sets are Japanese. This is Lefton. That's one of the Japanese import companies. We've got a holiday theme on this. $6. I have a special purpose for that set of salt and pepper shakers, so that is not going to make it to my Etsy shop. This set, Japan, the set is $10. They're priced separately. Nonetheless, I'm definitely taking them home because pieces like that will sell. They will sell well. Now, the salt and pepper shakers that I got, these little holiday salt and pepper shakers, these are Lefton, and they are going to top Tidbit trays. So I got them for a very specific purpose. The other set, the little race cars, when you find odd little pieces like that, they're beautiful Japan pieces. They have that wonderful sort of fade on the paint that the Japanese did. That was a mid-century thing. So you see a gradation of color. It was very beautifully done. And the Japanese did it better than anyone I've ever seen do it. And they did it for small pieces. These were just cheap figurines, salt and pepper shakers, dishes, whatever, that were exported to the United States. The most incredible glazing on these pieces, and for pieces that we were going to buy for pennies. Amazing. So I love the fact that we're able to pick up this great art. Those, I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet, but as I took a look around, and I mentioned before that this particular booth has a little bit of everything. I saw a few other things of note, so let's take a look. This little perfume atomizer is a Japanese import. It's not marked. I actually checked under the label. There was a company that specialized in these little hand-painted porcelain perfume bottles. I wanted them to go on my list of Japanese import companies, but I cannot remember their name. It'll come to me. Toothpick holder, Nippon, lovely piece, $2. Oh yes. Let's take a look at what else we have. We have little things up here. Occupied Japan mini vase, $8. No. These pieces, porcelain trinket box. Yep, made in Japan. This one, no. The Nippon toothpick holder came with me. Nothing else did. The perfume atomizer was overpriced, as were some of the other things there. And when I say overpriced, it was really just a question of I can get the same thing at another booth at Bedford for half the price. So that's my version of overpriced. But I thought it was worth looking at them regardless. The next thing I have up for you, because I've been shopping for a while and I decided I wanted to go to the bathroom. So I filmed their bathroom for you. Take a look. Let me apologize for the noise. The fan is on. I am in the restroom at Bedford Antiques. And I don't know if you folks have ever seen anything like this. This is a stenciled floor. They would have laid a stencil down on this and just painted over it so that you would have the impression of a carpet here. This is the area in the corner behind the door where you're probably going to get the best a look at what the original pattern would have looked like. It's a little worn now, but still very nice, very interesting. So what do you think of that bathroom floor? That was a thing around the turn of the century. So we're looking at something that was, I would say probably 120 to maybe 80 years ago. This was something people did. You had a floor, you painted it. And we don't see very many. That floor in Bedford, that's an original old floor. It's beautiful. Obviously, it's not something for sale. It's not something that came home with me. But I thought you might like to take a look at that, simply because it could spark some ideas for you in your own homes. That's a concrete floor that they painted. So you got a patio, got a basement floor. Gee, get a stencil and a paintbrush and go to town, because it's really, really beautiful. Next up is another booth that I go in there occasionally. They do have some interesting things, most of which they overprice. Not this time. So let's take a look. Well, let's take a look at this. At first glance, I thought that was a 1960s sort of pop art design. Then I turned it. No. Check. And this is Art Deco. So, at $7, it's a little high for a cream pitcher, but Art Deco, so you gotta know that's a bargain. Here, let me show you the back. That is something that is not going to last very long once that gets listed in my shop. Art Deco, I find, sells like crazy. As I said in the film, when I first looked at that piece, I thought 1960s pop art. Smart Czechoslovakia. That means not possible. Um, Prior to the Second World War, you could get Czech pottery like that. Now, obviously, prior to the Second World War, a style like that is unquestionably Art Deco. Second World War, no exports from Czechoslovakia. It was just, the country was overrun by the Nazis. It was a terrible time for the Czech people in general. So they did not have a production. Good Lord, well, as I say, the Nazis were overrunning their country. So, as you can imagine, merely keeping body and soul together was something of a feat for them. At the end of the war, it was part of the Soviet bloc countries. So, World War II ends, we're not getting anything from Czechoslovakia. So, it was impossible for that to have been a Czech export during these periods. And of course, as of 1993, they are the Czech Republic now and not Czechoslovakia. So if I had seen the Czechoslovakia mark, I would have realized it had to be deco. Just the history of the country made it impossible for it to be anything else. But when I turned it to the side and saw the side markings, that was when I said, oh, that's not 60s. But we've talked about that before when we talked about the Mondrian paintings that we just found so late 60s. Yves Saint Laurent did a line of dresses on them. It was a design that was wildly popular in the late 60s, but in fact, it was a design that came out in the Art Deco period. And this is another one of those, this beautiful Art Deco piece that just hit me in the face as 60s pop art. Nope, Art Deco. All right, then I went upstairs, second floor. Last time I went up to the second floor, I came down empty-handed. Not so this time. So let's take a look. I'm sure you'll remember this little booth based on the salt and pepper shakers here. Those are the same set that I have, and they just tease me, but frankly, they are damaged. Mine are not, so they stay, and mine stay on Ezra. I was walking by, this caught my eye. Beautiful piece, $3.50. This is a Lefton piece. No idea what you do with it. You stick it on a table and shove stuff in it. I just really don't know what it is you're supposed to be shoving in it. Anyway, good piece, good price, coming home with me. I have absolutely no idea what is supposed to go in that interesting little dish. It's an oval dish. Possibly it's one of those European style sugar bowls that never had lids and were not intended to. I do have a feeling that there is some specific function for a piece like that. I'm going to have to think. Maybe it'll come to me. But regardless, at $3.50, that is a gorgeous piece of china, beautiful little violet pattern on it, and who knows? I think it will make a great potpourri holder, a great little cash pot. Stick it on your kitchen sink, put your sponge in it, who knows? Whoever buys it is going to get to decide. But beautiful piece, $3.50. Oh yes, thrift store prices. Next, I went over to the booth that had those beautiful little bird vases. So let's take a look. Well, they're still here, but not for much longer. They are coming home to be with their friends at my house. $14 for resale pieces, I would say that's a little high. For these pieces, just as a straight up retail purchase, I would have to say the price is very reasonable. So yes, they came home with me. Now, they were not $14 a pair. I wasn't clear about that in the filming. They were $14 each. But because that booth had a 40% off sale, I got the pair for $16.80. So $8.40 a piece. Not a bad price. I got them because they are such a good match for the vases that Lisa gave me. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I just couldn't leave them behind because they have brothers that are sitting over here in my living room. They had to come home with me. Next up was a very pretty little Noritake plate. And there was a stack of them. There were 4 of these plates. I only took one. So let's take a look. Noritake dessert plate, $4. Well, under ordinary circumstances, I would say that's high, even for Noritake. For my purposes, because I am going to take one of these plates home and put it on a Tidbit tray, I would say no, not high. We've visited this booth before. They've got a lot of china here, which they split up and sell separately, which is something that ordinarily I don't favor. Okay, the price on those plates is why I only took one. They're going to be a very nice addition to a Tidbit tray because unlike most of the pieces like this, the portion of the plate, that dead center mark that I will drill through, had nothing going on there. Just sort of blank space, almost as if somebody said to themselves, gee, let's make a plate that's just inherently Tidbit tray friendly. So that came home. That's going into the Tidbit tray stack of china. I have pieces that will do very well with that. Nice one. And then, as I moved away, I found something really interesting. Did not buy, just wanted to share with you. Well, here is a china set that just screams George Jetson to me. Nice, not something I'm interested in, but definitely it's the right look for somebody who wants this look. So, does that look like something George and Jane Jetson would eat their breakfast off of? I think it does. That's just, like I said, if that's the sort of thing you like, that's the sort of thing you like. It has a wonderful mid-century look to it, very futuristic, in my opinion. So, if you like that sort of futuristic stuff, there you go. And there was only one thing that I got at Bedford after this, but I didn't film it because at this point my bag had some goodies in it, and it was a stack of plates, and I was very nervous about the idea of carrying a stack of plates downstairs. The next time I go to Bedford, I'll photograph their staircase. They have a spiral staircase, and I'm not real comfortable on it because the banister's a little rickety, etc. And so I left the plates upstairs. They went up and got them for me. But these are the plates. And I got a set of them. It was a total of something like 10 plates, I think. And I paid about $8 for them. These are plates that are going to be turned into Tidbit trays that are going to be Christmas giveaways for our viewers. I'm not doing it through the YouTube channel, however. This particular giveaway I am sending over to the YouTube group that Colleen and Lisa and some of their friends had started, and it's called Sue's Angels, which I love. I get to be Charlie. I'm just delighted with this little Facebook group. I'm not on Facebook. I don't do that sort of social media. These lovely ladies have just taken it over. They're doing great work over there. Go check it out. There are going to be 4 Christmas Tidbit trays that they are going to give away through the Facebook group using whatever criteria they see fit. So definitely go check them out and do whatever you're going to need to do to register for your Christmas Tidbit giveaway. All right, I will not see you tomorrow. As you know, I don't post on Tuesdays. So check us out on Wordy Wednesday. Book club is Thursday evenings, and we are finishing Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey and going over to a new book on Thursday. All right, have a great couple of days. Let's take a look at our beautiful horizon pictures, get our little moment of calm, and I will see you all next time.